Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to League of Europe here for round number 6 of the LOE Endure League for Season 1. We're here for Imola, and taking you through the action tonight is myself. I've been Mike, and I am not alone. I have been joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. XLRJ. RJ, how are you doing, mate?
Doing very good. I'm quite happy to be described as a legend. To be fair, very few people call me that, but yeah, I'm very good. I'm looking forward to Imola. Most people know that I absolutely love this track, so yeah, I can't wait to see see what people want to do, and I'm gonna be critiquing a lot of people because I'm gonna go, oh, that's really easy to do, and then they're gonna mess it up or something. So.
I mean, they might mess it up by the time they get to like lap 40, but be interesting to see how these guys get on. Of course, it is the realistic performance, so we have some of the quicker guys in the slower cars and the slower guys in the quicker cars. And so far, this season, it's given us some fantastic racing between drivers that never really get a chance to race with each other on track.
Yeah, really. So, yeah, Normal Luigi is the one really. He doesn't do any racing on the F1 side of things in the main divisions, but he joined this and he's been racing. I think Luke's been up there quite a lot. I think there's only one race where Luke wasn't right at the front, and I think he crashed out. So there's guys like that, Marty, Funky Chicken, Passe. They've all been towards the front. So it is a nice just array of people battling with each other that you just don't see in the normal divisions.
Yeah, absolutely, and obviously we're starting to get some times coming in on the board. It is QVR Campbell setting the pace, and I'm currently on board with Miami, who I think invalidated his lap. I didn't have the track map up, so I didn't quite see it, but Dylan was directly ahead of him, and oh nope, there it is. Miami has just popped up with the fastest lap of the session. So a good opening banker there from Miami, and Luigi coming through with a 16.4 in the Aston Martin.
Yeah, this is going to be a track where really the top teams in terms of the top cars are really going to. I think the gaps are going to be slightly bigger than normal because there's a good mix of straight line speed and aero, and the top cars just seem to have, but they have both, so they're just going to pull away a bit further. So anyone in the Mercedes, the Red Bull, the McLarens are going to have quite a big advantage, I would have thought, around this track, and we have it there, the top three, McLaren, a Red Bull and a McLaren.
Yeah, and looking at the drivers in each of the cars, so we got Ibo and Farrell Fury in the Red Bull racing cars, so they'll be looking for a good performance. Farrell Fury up there in second right now. The Mercedes pairing is Passe and Marty, so that's also a very interesting pairing, as I'm currently on board with Larkin, but we'll get down to Larkin in just a minute. The Ferraris of Old School and DTR Brent is an interesting pairing, and then of course the McLarens of Miami and Luke. Both of them are sitting in the top three, pretty comfy right now, as there we go, Larkin up into second, and what a lap that is in the Alpine.
Very good lap. I'm on board with Passe. He's doing a medium run to start the session off, but I am very intrigued by him being in a Mercedes. I know he was towards the front, well, he was at the front in Canada. We won't speak about what happened, but as he goes third on the medium, so yeah, Passe was one that I was in the Mercedes. Going to be very quick. D3 driver, he's quick round here in general, and yeah, him in the Mercedes, it's going to be very just. I'd expect him. He's probably my favourite for this one.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how Passe gets on. As you said, very good around this track. Anyway, and you put him in a top team car, is going to help him massively. But looking at the other drivers in the remaining cars for the AlphaTauris, we got Rakurik and Funky Chicken, Aston Martin's Luigi and Relentless Calvin. The Alpine is Larkin and Killer Blue. And the Alfa Romeo, a very interesting pairing of Relentless Car Mentalist and XL Gary, which should be a bit spicy, I think. Williams pairing of XL Dylan and XL Rocco, so two of your XL teammates in the Williams cars. And then we got the QVR pairing of Campbell and Verstappen in the Haas cars, so that runs you through the entire grid for today. Some very intriguing lineups for some of these teams tonight.
Yeah, as I said before, the Mercedes pairing. Marty's been fairly quick all season, not quite put it together throughout all of the races, but yeah, he's still in the Mercedes, still pretty quick, and Passe again, just it just shows the level of the grid that Passe is in the Mercedes, really, really. So yeah. The other lineups, yeah, as you said, Car Mentalist and Gary is a very interesting lineup. Whether they play
Calvin's out. Calvin's out. I was just on board with Calvin coming for the hairpin, and he has lost it on the exit and into the wall. He's out of the session. Go on, as you were saying.
Yeah, it'd be very intriguing to see if Car Mentalist and Gary actually. I know there's not really a teams one in this championship, but when it comes to pit stops, whether they actually play ball or not, so that would be interesting to see. But
oh, they're 100% going to try and mug each other off.
Oh,
they
yeah,
are 100% going to do it.
Got to keep this suspense. But no, but yeah, the lineups. I think the Haas lineup is well. I think Montana was in there earlier this season, but since Montana, he's not done the last few races, and he's not here today anyway. And Campbell and Verstappen in the Haas again. And I think Verstappen actually won last time in Canada in the Haas, so that just kind of sums up Canada as Campbell's gone for a spin at the final corner, saved it, kept it out of the wall, but that was his lap over. He's on for a pretty decent time there on the medium, but yeah, sums up the Canada race when the Haas driver wins. So.
Well, I mean, that Canada race in itself was absolutely bonkers, especially towards the end. I believe we had a very late safety car bunched up the pack, and Verstappen taking the victory in the Haas, and that's got to go down as like one of the greatest achievements ever seen in LOE.
Yeah, and he started from 14th as well, so yeah, that's it even says a lot about the what happened towards the end of that race, the final couple of corners, and the race as a whole, really, for him to get through there. Yeah, I've seen, I think someone had 24 seconds penalty, someone had 18, and everyone had at least one. Verstappen managed to keep it down to 3 and won the race. So as Rick goes fastest in the AlphaTauri on the 15.2, just the 15.2. So there's about 500, sorry, between the top 3 so far. So looking quite close to the top.
Yeah, indeed, and this is why we love the Endure League, because it does throw. It throws drivers together in the LOE League in general that don't really get a chance to race against each other. I mean, Ibo on the same grid as the likes of XL Gary, Killer Blue, Campbell, Verstappen. You really get to see that in LOE as Gary there just pips ahead of Car Mentalist, so the Alfa Romeo team battle has already begun.
Yeah, that's I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that, because that is ridiculously close after their medium runs. I've been on board with XL Dylan. He's actually just gone into the top 10 in the Williams, so quite a decent lap. I think he'll drop down whenever people do their soft runs, but that is a pretty good lap to start off with. As actually, I think Luke just jumped up into 4th in the McLaren. But yeah, the Alfa Romeo is not being split at all. I know Carmentalist is very quick around Imola. Gary was very quick in the first race of this current season, season 7 of the main divisions. So, and I think he came second in that. So, very quick. And I think Killer Blue. I don't know if it was Killer Blue that just jumped up the order, or but yeah, someone's just jumped up the order in the top 10. And Miami's actually just gone up to second as well.
Yeah, and Luigi just improved and got himself up ahead of Old School into P8, so a good lap there from Luigi.
Yeah, so we have the 2 Hasses, I think. I don't know if they're coming into the pits, they're coming to start a lap. Yes, they are. So we'll have to keep an eye out for these guys as they've started their soft runs now. I think the next one to the line might be... No, Luke's coming into the pits. We have a Williams, which might be Dylan. Yep, he's coming into the pits as well. And then we have a Mercedes, which is Passe. Passe has invalidated. This might be that lap. Yeah, he's going again. So Passe starting a lap now. I want to try and find someone on the end of a lap, but everyone seems to just be coming around to start their laps at the moment.
Yeah, it seems like we're in a bit of a stage at the moment where everyone's either on an in lap or an out lap, but I'll stay on board with Passe to see how he gets on through this lap, as just runs a bit wide. He does manage to keep it valid though, but he's lost a huge amount of time and he's 3 times down in sector 1 alone.
Yeah, but Passe himself says he doesn't like this track. He doesn't like the track, but I think he's actually pretty quick around here, even though he doesn't like it. And if he's losing time, he'll find it. He doesn't know how to drive, but he just has a bit of a mental block around here at Imola after what happened to him in the first race in D3 this season. As he goes, well, it's saying purple to the middle sector. We'll have to wait and see. As he comes now down towards the final. The Ravazzas, I'll just remember the name. There we go. The Ravazza 1, Ravazza 2. Very nicely for the first one. You want to stay off the curb a little bit on the inside because it can spin you sometimes. So he gets a nice run to the line and he goes fastest.
Wow.
By just under a tenth of a second. But yeah, that's kind of what we expected. I think that was a second run as well because he's very low on ERS. So very good job from Passe. The tyres don't really hold on that well for a second run, so he's going to go for it on his. He's got 4 minutes basically to get another lap in, so plenty of time for all these drivers to get round once again. So this could change massively by the end of the session.
Well, I think that sector 1 mistake from Passe could come back to bite him here. Foul Fury was 4 tenths up. He's now half a second up as he comes through the middle sector for the chicane. Bit of traffic of Verstappen who gets out of the way pretty sharpish, and there's a few corners to go now for Foul Fury. As I do not know the corner names, I don't even want to attempt to pronounce them. It doesn't work with the Welsh accent, guys. It doesn't work. But to the line comes Foul Fury, and there it is, a 14.8. So Passe now needs 4 tenths to take pole position.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he can get close to that. And the McLarens I would also expect to be up there towards the end of the session. The one, well, he hasn't done a soft lap yet, but the other Mercedes driver, Marty, on an out lap now, I'm assuming on the soft, yet to, well, everyone's on the soft right now, but yet to actually do a lap on the soft compound tyres, so that would be very interesting to see where he ends up, as everyone is now filing out the pits. It's absolute chaos down in the pit lane. From what I'm seeing, but yeah, everyone starting to head out on track, and I think a Ferrari's just started his lap, and that would be Brent.
Yep, so I'm currently on board with the race winner from Canada in Verstappen, trying to find as much time as possible. A difficult thing to do in the Haas, but Campbell and Verstappen always seem to be able to find time in these cars, and it's mind-blowing to actually just go on board and see it. And to the line will come Verstappen now. As a 16.1, he jumps ahead of Marty and Campbell.
Pretty good lap in the Haas as I'm watching Brent. He's just gone massively wide at Aqua Minerale, so that's going to be lap over for Brent. He was up a lot on his time. He's yet to do a proper soft run. As of now, I don't know who's the next one on a lap behind him. There's two Alpines are fairly close, so I don't know if Larkin's actually on a lap or on an out lap, so we'll have to find out.
Both going for it, from the looks of it. They're both on about 50% DRS as they come to the line now. It's going to be Killer Blue across the line first. 15.3, and there goes Larkin with a 14.9 up onto the front row for XL Larkin. And Luke there, smashing it with an 18.1, 7 thousandths of a second between him and Foul Fury. That's how tight it is at the top.
Yeah, if you're Foul, you've got to be a bit annoyed. He went early to try and get a bit of clean space on track, and because traffic around here can be a bit of a nuisance. But pipped by 7 thousandths, and I think there's going to be a few more. Looking at that, there's potentially going to be a few more that can sneak up there as Miami has just
Marty!
There we go. I said Marty was one to watch, and he's put it on pole by some as well, over 2 attempts. His teammate's still around there on track somewhere, just starting his lap. So, yeah, this is going to change massively by the end of the session.
Yep, it's getting a little bit spicy now. I think Luke is going to be furious at Marty's just done that to him, but that is the power of the Mercedes versus the McLaren. I'm on board with Brent now, who's coming to the line. Brent down in 18th place, going to be looking to climb up the order, and does, up into second onto the front row there for Brent.
Great lap. Currently, Passe's up by over half a second in that first sector. So you said it was bad on the first run, but he's put it right on this second run. So it's coming down to Aqua Minerale now, about halfway through the lap, coming towards the second sector split. So it'll be very interesting to see where he can put this. Marty's teammates on pole, so Passe could really be there. He's actually lost time in that middle sector, so it's only 4 attempts now. So Passe not quite getting it all together in qualifying. As he's driving down the hill towards the Vivaxas now for the final time in this session. Checker flag is out, so half the drivers pretty much are done with their sessions now as Passe comes through the final corner. Up to the line, DRS open. What's he going to do? A 14.7. It does put him on the front row, just pips Brent by 3 thousandths of a second. We have got a few drivers left to do that laps, but that looks pretty solid for a front row. Funky Chicken has backed off his lap completely. No Luigi in the pit, so that is the session. Or actually, no, Marty's still on track, but he's backed off as well. So that is the session done. So Marty will be on pole, and it's a Mercedes 1-2. An absolute rarity, that one.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Mercedes front row, I fell asleep, guys. But yeah, I was on board with Luigi at the end. It looked like he could have improved on his time. I don't know by how much. He was just marginally. He was on course with his time in the middle sector. He could have found a bit in the final, but he decided to back out. Obviously, with that P11, that's a very coveted spot to have on the grid. So, it'll be interesting to see what he does. Getting a little bit of information. Apparently, it's going to be fully dry.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing around here because the only real way to overtake at this track is using DRS. So if it's raining and there's no DRS, you struggle for action. But yeah, having it dry helps a lot. But yeah, I'm quite looking forward to seeing how this one plays out.
Yes, and I'll run you through the order really quick. We've got 17 seconds, so let's go through it. Right, so we've got Marty on pole position with Passe in second place, Brent in third, Luke in fourth, Foul Fury in fifth, Larkin in sixth, Killer Blue in seventh, Funky Chicken in eighth, Rick in ninth, Miami rounding up the top 10, and outside the top 10 with free choice of tyre compound, we have Noel Luigi, XL Gary, Old School 3000, XL Dylan, QVR Campbell, QVR Verstappen, Relentless Car Mentalist, XL Rocco, Sir Ivo, and Relentless Calvin rounding out the back of the grid. I know, guys, I know. Memory like a legend right here. This is where I've got one of them wrong, and they'll be clipped and stored forever in the LOE archives. But this is going to
Uh,
be an intriguing race because usually in the 50% there's just a casual one stop, and see 100%. Are we expecting a one stop again, or are we thinking that it could be more of a two stop strategy here?
well, as usual, it does make the two stop more viable, but I still think there's going to be a lot of drivers go for that one stop. It's very similar strategy wise um, to the normal 50%. So you just double the distance because the tyre wear is so the tyre wear in 50% is double what the tyre wear is in these races. So it's normally a lap. I think a lap 8 pit stop, so you could be looking somewhere between lap 8 to lap 12 or something like that. So you could be looking around lap 18 for a one stop to go all the way to the end on the mediums. So for pretty much an identical strategy in terms of tyres to a 50% round here.
Yeah, and looking outside the top 10, very intriguing in terms of the tyre selection. I was expecting to see more yellow wool tyres at the start, but only 3 outside the top 10, and that's Old School, XL Rocco, and Calvin at the back. So a lot of drivers favouring the soft tyre to start on.
I don't know why that might be. I think that could be in case they don't want to lose touch with the train around here. It is quite important to be in that train. The gaps weren't that far in quality, so it could completely turn into a train, like we see in the standard divisions. But as they come around the final corner now on the formation lap, but yeah, that could be the reason. But also, you don't want to risk. It's very easy to get damage on lap 1, so being on the softs allows you to easily change the strategy if need be.
Yes, we got another legend in the chat in J Cole saying 63 laps of watching Passe versus Marty for the win. Both spin merchants, can't wait for this one. J Cole, you're saying that like I'm right here. I'm the biggest spin merchant of them all. I'm right here. How dare you disrespect like that? But here we go, waiting for those 5 red lights to come on now, and here they come, 3, 4, 5 red lights. Lights out, and we are underway for 63 laps here at Imola, and what a start there from Marty, already getting clear of his teammate as we got Brent tucked into the slipstream, as we got Luke trying to hang it around the outside. All looking very clean so far in the background. Have you spotted anything in particular down there?
Absolutely nothing. I saw that Marty and Passe and Brent didn't really want to move off the line as we have a car that's gone straight on. That is Funky Chicken, yeah, gone straight on at the Villeneuve chicane. I don't quite know what happened there, but we had, none of the front really wanted to move off the line, and Luke had to go around the outside, no space there, but nothing really unfolded behind that. They've all kind of kept it clean. I don't quite know what happened to Funky Chicken, but he's really the only one that's, he's got front wing damage to the left end plate, but other than that, I haven't seen anything throughout the field.
As XL Gary has made a bit of a mistake there. It's allowed Campbell to get through, and Gary and Carl Mendelis are getting a little bit closer to each other on track. I think we're going to see the Alfa Romeos go at it soon.
This is what we all want. We all want this battle. Battle for the lead doesn't matter when this battle down here is going on. There's Carl Mendelis up behind Old School trying to get this movement. It's just can't do anything on the straight until DRS opens, and most of these guys are still in the train, and a few brakes at the front, but other than that, it's still it's forming already. We're on lap 2, so this is going to be a very long race. I get the feeling.
I think Farrell Furry's
made a mistake.
Yep, he's around and he's lost his entire front wing, so it's not looking good for the Red Bull lad.
I just wonder if he's clipped the curb there on the inside and just kind of just spun him and he's lost it, or maybe or whether he's kind of just gone straight on, being misjudging someone else's braking. But yeah, without a front wing, that's going to be a long trek back to the pits.
Yeah, and it's going to be a long day there for our Fury. And Marty had the jump at the start, was able to break away, but Passe and Brent starting to kind of close themselves back in, and Luke over the back of Brent now. As DRS gets activated, Brent's going to be under some serious pressure here.
Brent's going to really struggle. He's going to be really quick in all the sectors where you don't want to be quick in the race. Unless you're in clean air, he's going to be quick in the middle sectors. But the straight line speed of Luke just allows him to breeze straight past. And as I said, Brent's just going to he's going to struggle to try and do anything down that straight, and it shows there. Without DRS, Luke just breezes past.
Yep, Luke did use quite a bit of ERS to get past Brent, but I think Luke was just biding his time because he has over 70% and he was using quite a lot of it on the main straight.
Yeah, and Brent's only got about 50%, so that is the difference. Luke's just bided his time, used it in the right place, and he's trying to get into that DRS zone of passing in front. He's really close already. So DRS activated this lap, so it's crucial that really for Luke to try and get in that 1 second window, and he has done so.
Yeah, that was massive there for Luke to not lose touch with Passe and Marty, who could pretty much just DRS slipstream each other to get away from the pack behind, but it hasn't worked. Luke has managed to stay in this train. Top four have broken away by around 2 seconds to Larkin, who's got a small conjuring behind him of his teammate Killer Blue and Ricorec. And then we got the big train behind XL Miami with Noah Luigi, Dylan Campbell. The Alfa Romeos now line astern 12 and 13. It's a Haas sandwich with an Alfa Romeo filling right now, from P11 down to P14. You love to see it, you really do.
I didn't even notice that. I don't know if... let me just check positions game. Yeah, so Campbell's actually up 4 positions, so that shows how good his start was. And after all of that, Gary's not even up as a position.
Yep, Marty's gone.
That's Marty, yeah. So Marty's been had a few mistakes already this season. He's gone from the lead of the race, now back in the train. Is he going to spit the Alfa Romeos? Yes, he is. So the Alfa Romeo battle has to wait a few corners longer as Marty's come back after his spin and spit the middle of them. But yeah, that is yeah. Marty's had a few of those this season, and he's had it again down at Acro Minerale.
I just had a little glance at the chat. I knew it was coming. J. Cole mentioned Marty being a spin merchant, and he just said, "Told you." I knew it was going to happen. J. Cole, you didn't have to do that, but you didn't have to curse him like that. And Brent's gone.
Brent. Wow, that is him. Probably, yeah, that's him spinning off turn 2, trying to rejoin without blocking anyone. But that's him having a spin at turn 2. I would have thought, just dipping the curve the wrong way, and just yeah, it's very hard to stop it from that point on. And he's now down in 16th, so long day for him as well. No damage by the looks of it, but right at the back of the field, and those tyres are probably shot right now.
Yeah, and he's in a bit of a tough spot now for Brent. Nothing but medium runners behind him. He wants to hope that Rocco can get within that DRS train that Old School is a part of. And to be fair, Rocco has just about got there as Marty gets a big snap of oversteer on the exit of the chicane. That's going to allow Verstappen. It's a Haas overtaking a Mercedes. You never thought you would see it, but ladies and gentlemen, it's just happened right there.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Marty. He was at the front of the field, just kind of going. It's something's happened to Oh no, there's yellow flags in a different part of the track. Sorry. Yeah, Marty re-overtaking Verstappen now, but yeah, he's looked like he's just struggling for grip now after that spin. So that could just be the tyres either too warm or too much of the gravel still on them. But just doesn't look. He's quite comfortable at the front. Passe was in his DRS, but not exactly pushing him. But now he's in the middle of the pack, and he's just not quite. He doesn't look quite. Driving the car is quite the same. So let's see what happens there. I think Killer Blue just overtook Larkin for third on the straight, but I've just seen them both do exactly the same line through Acqua Minerale. Don't know which part of the track they were trying to be on, but they weren't. Larkin's gone in. Oh no, that's Killer Blue. Sorry, in the wall.
And he's out.
And that's his race done on lap 6, and that could be
It is
a full course safety car on lap 6.
Oh, as Miami almost went straight into the back of Rick Urich there. Good reactions from Miami that dodged that, but I mean, we mentioned about the Alfa Romeos possibly doing themselves over with the pit stops. They haven't got a choice now.
Yeah, a few people coming in. I would have thought they'd go medium. I'd have to look what Luke's done. Luke,
yeah, he's got medium.
He's out on the medium, so yeah, it does kind of make sense to go with the mediums right now. But yeah, it's an odd time for the pit stops. If it was lap 10, 11, it's an easier choice. But I don't blame some of these drivers for staying out really on the softs and do what they do next time around. I think a few of them got forced into it by their teammates coming in. And actually, they're behind the safety car, so they will lose a lot if they pit. So, someone like Rick Urich, who was right towards the top, really, I think he was about 5th before that safety car, he's going to drop right back towards the back of the field if he pits now. So, yeah, it's put them all in a bit of a difficult situation.
Yeah, but the thing is, Rick Urich had the opportunity to come into the pits. He elected not to. The same with New Luigi as well. So maybe they're thinking a bit too early to pit for the mediums. Stretch these softs out and just have better tyres to go to the end of the race on.
Yeah, potentially, and it could even be just get to the front, see what we can do in clean air, see if we can pull a little bit of a gap, and that could benefit them later in the race. Who knows, another safety car could come out. Imola. Safety cars do come out quite a lot when a crash anywhere around the circuit is likely to bring out a safety car because the barriers are fairly close in all places. So maybe they're just hoping on that, but I mean, it's not a bad decision. That you could probably go another, probably do another 15 laps on these tyres. So they've got a lot of time to think about what they're doing, and yeah, no decision is a bad decision at this point. It's only a bad decision when you know what the right decision was. So who knows at this point? But yeah, those 5 at the front got a lot of time to. For something to happen, for them to make up those positions again.
Yeah, it's also the good news for the guys on the softs at the front is, I mean, right now their tyres are technically the better tyre to be on right now. The soft, I don't think would have worn enough that the mediums of the same age would be the better tyre right now. And the good news for the soft runners is that they have a couple of medium runners in behind them, and the fresh medium runners of Passe, Luke, Larkin, Dylan going down towards Gary in 14th, and just having a few different cars in behind on a different strategy on a slower tyre, that's going to help these guys on the softs out.
Yeah, and that's the big one in terms of if they can pull away, get that gap, and that's the big one really, to see if they can clear the medium runners behind. And if they can do that, they've got a very good chance of just pulling away in the chain. But it's easier said than done. And the safety car is coming in.
Ooh,
this
that's
lap,
a late call.
They're coming up to the penultimate corner.
Yeah, that is a late call there from the safety car. So Rikurik now will back up the pack as much as possible. These guys need to watch out for the 5-second time penalties for a collision with everyone backing up so suddenly. But Rikurik has gone now. Miami has reacted very well to it. I don't think he's going to be close enough to really challenge, but Marty there already getting past Carl Mendeless and up into P4, and that is the power of the Mercedes engine, and he's already on the back of New Waluigi.
Yeah, absolutely ridiculous straight line speed that is. But yeah, Marty already up into 4th place, trying to recover after that spin. He didn't follow suit with his teammate because he wanted, well, it's a smart decision from him. He was in the pack, he would have come out in the middle of the, well, towards the back of the pack actually, so him just being towards the front is a massive opportunity for him to try and get those positions back as we have a move further down the field. Verstappen actually pit onto the softs. He's having a battle with Feral Fury, and Brent actually battling with Gary as well. Brent ahead of Gary now, so that Alfa Romeo is being overtaken, both being overtaken in the same lap. But yeah, actually the medium runners haven't fallen away from the softs either on this first lap, so that's encouraging, but not exactly what the soft runners at the front want at this safety car restart.
Yeah, Old School doing a good job keeping with the soft runners at the front, and he's keeping that train in behind very interesting as well. He's not being dropped as of yet, and for these guys on the softs, they need to push. They need to try and get away from Old School as quickly as possible, because Old School right now is possibly the biggest threat right now for possibly on for the best strategy, because he'll be on the softs towards the end. If he's not 2-stopping, of course. I think he'll probably 1-stop, as Dylan's gone. Can't get through a Ford without someone spinning.
Yeah, so yeah, once again at the Villeneuve chicane, he's avoided damage, but those mediums are seen better days. He's only been on them since the safety car came out, so yeah, Williams at the back is going to struggle to get to the back of the train again, as we
Marty's gone again.
Marty around again, the same place. He's
Honestly,
really not liking that corner.
Honestly, at this point, just blame J. Cole.
No, I just think you spun there once already. You gotta. If it's a case of you're pushing too hard through there, you gotta ease it off a little bit. And Marty's gone round again. There, as we have Ibo in the middle sector going a bit slow through Aqua Minerale. So that's all sorted now. DRS is enabled, and actually the top two have pulled miles away from Waluigi. Yeah, and they have cleared Old School behind, so DRS will be activated. Well, they can use it from this lap onwards. They didn't have it down that straight, but they have cleared those gaps already. But there's already two separate battles going on at the front, as Rick and Miami have pulled clear already.
Yeah, and I think Waluigi, I think he's lost the time there, either by avoiding Marty spinning, or maybe they were battling side by side, which allowed Marty to spin. But J. Cole saying you can't blame me for being a prediction master. I mean, we can, and we will. And I'm sure Marty will as well.
As Campbell picks up a 3-second time penalty, so penalties already starting to fly in. 4 drivers with them already. And, well, Campbell's picked one up. That's not what you want to do when you're in a Haas. Last thing you want is to pick up a penalty. Is actually, I think that Miami was going for a move for the lead, and he's into the lead with the DRS. Flies past the AlphaTauri, and can Miami pull even further clear. So this soft strategy is working. As Passe has made a move up to 7th place. He's the first of the ones to pit to make their way through the field, and now right behind Rocker. So he's starting to climb through the medium runners that haven't pit yet. Down one already, as he's passed Calvin into turn 1.
Yeah, Passe getting through on Calvin is a relentless teammate, and now he's got XL Rocco up ahead, and that's going to be a whole other challenge for Passe to get through. So Rocco, when he feels that he's entitled to fight for a position, he will fight that position. And
Oh,
I
we have
think
Marty
Marty's
around
gone
again.
again.
Yeah, Marty around again at Acque Minerale. So I think this might be the theme of this race for Marty. He's just gonna go around there every single time at this point. But yeah, Passe all over the back of Rocco as they come down the hill to start the next lap. He's gonna have DRS. They're both in Mercedes-powered cars, but the drag of the Williams is going to be. Is it going to be enough for Passe to have a chance as Carmentelis goes through on the Waluigi? Passe going to the outside for turn one. Rocco's not going to give him the room there. Just completely outbrakes him. I think Passe had to back out of that one, and they have a hold position for now. But Rocco's already derating, so already pretty much out of his ERS. As Calvin now getting swamped down the field. He's down to 10th. Brent had a look at him, and Calvin just shut the door completely on the exit of Villeneuve, and they hold position. But Calvin really slipping back, so he was the first of the three to get overtaken. He's just been completely outdone by the fresher tyres now.
Yeah, as Calvin starts to slowly slip back through the field. I mean, the good news for Rocco is that he does have that DRS at the moment. As long as he can keep a hold of that, he has a good chance of keeping Passe in behind. And smart driving from Rocco. He knows where to defend, and he knows how to almost sort of box Passe in to the point where he's either going to be going into the back of someone or backing out of a move, but that isn't going to matter because the overwhelming ERS advantage is going to allow Passe to just cruise on by Rocco, and there's a Mercedes overtaking a Williams, and now is a Ferrari of old school up ahead, next up for Passe.
Yeah, Rocco's just had to use a lot down the straight because of the Williams just really draggy. So any straight line speed it has from a Mercedes engine isn't enough, and has to use the ERS. But now he's got none of it left. He's going to really struggle, and he could just net P1 when everyone ahead of him pits, but he's just doing what he needs to do. Kept it clean and in a very good position. We're only 14 laps into this race, and he's just got his head down and just quietly going about his business, not over pushing, as he's coming up to the back of Old School. And you think this one could be fairly easy, as Old School has no DRS to help him defend this one.
Yes, if you guys didn't watch LOE D3 around the circuit, these two didn't have a very good time in D3, if I remember correctly. So it's good to see.
Yeah.
It's good to see that they don't come together this time around.
Yeah, they made it to turn one this time around. But yeah, Passe ahead of Old School now. Old School going to start slipping back. I would have thought Passe's just the fresher tyres, the Mercedes engine, and well, the Mercedes full stop. But I think he should be able to. Maybe he won't clear DRS this lap, but in a few laps it'll be out of DRS. And Old School got to really watch behind him because Luke's been on quite a charge through the field. I thought he was going to have a go at Passe a few laps ago, couldn't quite get it done, and Passe managed to get ahead of Old School instead. But Old School just got to watch behind him now. He's going to start slipping through the field, but it's fine for the strategy. It still kind of works, and just at this point, kind of banking on that safety car. But they're going a lot longer into this race. I'm going to be looking towards lap 30 or something. So yeah, probably like lap 40 before they come into the pits. So a long race for these guys, as Luke should breeze past this time around.
Yep, as Passe is going to breeze through on Luigi up ahead as well. And the gap has increased between Luke and Passe, just simply because Luke definitely was a quicker driver there versus Old School, but just gone to the back of him at the worst possible moment, losing a huge amount of time to pass up ahead.
Yeah, I think you have to have something stupid like a 1.5 second like pace advantage to try and make an overtake anywhere other than turn 1 round here. So he caught him. I think he caught him pretty much straight after turn 1 when Passe overtook him and just stuck behind for a whole lap. He's now closed onto the back of Noir Luigi. Whether Passe gets stuck behind anyone else, doesn't look like he will. He's on the back of Carmentalist pretty much straight away. Whether he gets stuck behind for a lap, that'll be interesting. But Luke on the back of Noir Luigi, gonna probably get past this lap. It's whether Passe gets past first time round on Carmentalist is the big
It
one.
looks like it.
It looks like
it. And I mean, J. Cole just mentioned it in the chat. Seems like the crossover point between the mediums and the softs. And I think we're seeing evidence of that because these guys are falling back towards Old School.
Yeah, I don't think it's the crossover. I don't think there's a crossover yet. Softs, I don't think the softs ever feel that bad around here unless you're driving about 70% on wear, which none of these guys should be anywhere near that. But the pace of the softs hasn't seemed to fall off. It's just Passe, those guys coming through on fresher mediums. They got 7-lap younger tyres. That's the difference at the moment as Funky Chicken makes a move on Feral Fury towards the back of the field. And actually Feral Fury's lost another position, so whether he's got damage, yes he has. So more damage for Feral Fury in this race. Already went off once, lost his whole front wing. Now just a right hand side end plate.
Oh no, Passe spun it.
That means the predictions come right. We can't be having this. Yeah, both Mercedes have spun. Well, one of them spun multiple times. Passe has thrown away what looked like a comfortable position. Is now down in 15th. So, yeah, nothing more to say really. It's Passe.
I can't believe J. Cole with the prediction of the season. And he's just asked, do we want the lotto numbers as well? Yes, we do. And we also won the Thunderball as well.
Can I just point out he said 63 laps of them battling. We didn't get 63 laps of them battling. So,
I mean, you sure they're close? They're going to be close to each other on track now.
He said for the win. So that one's out the window. But yeah, Passe. I mean, Passe could probably still come back from this position and win. So such is the strength of the Mercedes. But yeah, he's got a lot of work cut out for him now. As Waluigi's trying to get back onto the back of Carmentalist, and actually Luke is up ahead of Carmentalist, so he is going to go charging off after the front two now. But they are in a very nice position in those softs. They've got to be thinking about pitting soon, but they'll come out probably right at the back of this train, which is not what they want. But they're in a very strong position as Luigi goes into the pits this time around, so it'll be very interesting to see where he comes out on his fresh medium tyres.
As Rickerick overtakes Miami up into the race lead now. It'll be interesting to see now just how quickly Luke can catch up to the top two, and if he's going to drag Carmentalist along. For Carmentalist, he's going to hope he can keep with Luke to get dragged along a little bit of a tow here, but I don't know if Carmentalist is going to be able to keep with Luke. I think Luke might drop him in this middle sector.
He's very good around this track, so I would not be surprised if he does. But those tyres have got to be they've got to be close to dropping off. Not quite there yet, but those fresh mediums that Luke has, well, fresher mediums that Luke has, are going to surely pull him away. But he's just hanging in there as we have a yellow flag. That is Marty out of the race. Now that could be a safety car, and it is a full course safety car. So Waluigi is going to be screaming right now. He went one lap earlier than everyone else, and it is not paid off whatsoever. I think those three medium runners are going to stay out. But those soft runners at the front have just been given an absolute blessing. But yeah, if you're Noah Luigi, you're going to be hating life right now. As Luke actually comes in as well, so that's an interesting thing.
If I was Noah Luigi, I would not have a desk. Let me just say that. I would not have a desk. There would be a massive crash of noise in my room because I have broken my desk in half with one punch. That would have been what would have happened. But the good news is that a lot of people ahead have come into the pit. So Noah Luigi, even though he's going to lose out, he may not lose out as much as he would have done.
Well, I think had he pit the next lap, he would have been. If he'd have pit this lap, he would have been a long way forward. But yeah, he probably still would have. Yeah, had there been no safety car, he would have been right at the back of the field. But with the fresher tyres, it's a chance to gain. But yeah, now that's been kind of thrown out the window. Luke only just came out ahead of him, and he's gone on the softs, so that's an interesting call. 43 laps left of the race. There's a very long way to go. But we now have... well, Passe is back at the front in 4th place, but we now have an Alpine leading, fair enough, in Larkin, but a Haas is our 2nd and 3rd. After all of that, they decided not to pit, because the mediums can do the race distance. And now they're in a very good position from that, and see how quickly it takes for them to fall back from the field, if they do fall back from the field, because even though they're in the slowest car, they are pretty much the quickest drivers. Well, that's how it's meant to work. Quickest drivers in the slowest car, so those slouches at the back, they just have the slowest car. So Verstappen on those softs, very intrigued to see what he's going to do, because he's clearly committed to going a bit further on these. But Campbell going to be really up for this, and the next car behind him is Passe. So Passe, probably not the person you want to come up behind after a safety car restart in the Haas. So
yeah, the nice Mercedes in behind is not what you want to see in your wing mirrors. And honestly, we saw the battle brewing earlier, and the first safety car kind of took away the battle. Gary on 13 lap old mediums. Car mentalist not too far behind on fresh mediums.
They're setting it up. They're building the suspense.
The tension right now, guys. The tension is building.
The main battle of this race is Mercedes battle is now well and truly over. But yeah, the Alfa Romeo battle is still on lap 21. The problem we've got before that, Gary's tyres, yeah, they're 13 laps old, but it's not going to be. They're not going to be terrible. But there's Rick and Miami in between the two Alfa Romeos, so they've been very quick so far this race. They've benefited massively from that safety car. Could have jumped right the way up the field, and we've got a late call again.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with the safety car around this circuit. It does like to announce that it's coming into the pits a decent amount of time after the second sector split. But Larkin's going to back up the pack and going to wait for him to go, and he's gone. Did catch Verstappen napping just a little bit, and here comes Passe. Look at the joke of that Mercedes engine.
Yeah, that is a joke. Nothing the Haas can do. Passe straight through. I did look at Miami. He had a run. And actually, I think Luke's managed to get past Car Mentalist, so that's the Mercedes engine yet again, pulling him through. He is on the soft compound tyres, but yeah, an absolute joke, that Mercedes in a straight line, and he breezes straight past Campbell.
Yeah, as Calvin picks up a 3-second time penalty, and I'm not going to lie, 22 laps in, very impressed to see this few amount of penalties so far.
Yeah, I do think there's a few drivers that are going to be sat on about 2 warnings. So we could get them all in one go as Calvin ahead of Brent there, just all of switching places. But yeah, a few guys went on the softs. Going to be interesting to see what they're planning to do. They're obviously hoping for another safety car because they're not going 40 odd laps on
no,
those.
Calvin's
So
out.
it's a spinner, and that is Calvin. Perfect timing, and there's a safety car. There we go. Called it. But a bit too early for the soft runners, but yeah. Just as Calvin gets mentioned, he's because that he's out of the race again, so yeah.
I can't
Safety car
wait.
out. And we do have, I think that was Funky Chicken and, well yeah, Funky Chicken, Ibo and Brent into the pits for, I think someone selected softs there, I think that's Ibo. A few of these drivers are going to... Yeah, okay, so softs for Funky Chicken and softs for Brent as well.
Yeah, I just wanted to have a little look there. Funky Chicken has made his 4th pit stop of the evening.
Interesting. That is a lot of pit stops.
Honestly, I reckon that if you're not on a 7 stop, you're not going to win this race.
Good work. Actually, good work. The way this race is going, we've third safety car already. And it's not even.
Now,
yeah, there's not been that many incidents. It's just when it has happened, it's been quite big, and we've had safety cars for it. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it though. The safety car don't come out anymore, does it?
does it not? Wow,
I
didn't
can't.
know that was a thing.
I can't quite remember, but I'm pretty sure like safety cars usually get like 3 maximum in like 50%. As I'm not sure if it's doubled for 100, but
We'll have to wait and see, I guess.
yeah.
I'm just checking warnings, and there are actually, I think there's only one person I've seen without any, or 2 people I've seen without any warnings, but there are a lot on 1 and a few on 2. So I think we are going to build towards some more towards the end of this race, but the rate we're going, they might not get a chance to, being under the safety car. So as I think Funky Chicken has come back in again. I'm assuming that'll be for a set of mediums this time. Oh no, he's retired. Okay, so Funky Chicken has retired from the race. That is an interesting one. I know quite why that's for
Yeah. I think Funky Chicken's just had enough.
Yeah, there's been a lot that's gone on in these first 20 odd laps, so we've still got another just under 40 laps to go. Yeah, we'll have to see if this is the last safety car we get, because if we get any more crashes like that and we have a safety, this could have just gone forever and ever. But, yeah, we'll have to see when we get underway again. I think we will get underway again this lap, and we get to do the restart again. Passe already ahead of one of the Hasses, and he gets a good chance to try and get past the other one as well, and on a straight line. As the safety car is coming in this time around.
Honestly, I'm staying on board with Passe because that Mercedes engine versus the Haas is a joke. he's just going to cruise straight past. Yeah,
and Verstappen's still out there on the soft, so that might give him an advantage on the restart, trying to warm up his tyres. But Passe, he's just trying to get back to the front of the field, trying to make up for his mistake in the earlier, just after his first safety car. When's Larkin going to go? He's gone early. He's gone very early, and actually Passe's been caught completely napping, and he's going to have absolutely no chance of trying to get past the Haas this time around.
Miami and Rick side by side. Run down into turn 1. Miami's on the inside. He's going to have a look, and no, he's backed out. Rick there outbraking the McLaren, but the McLaren does have a better run, but he does have nothing to really challenge with right now.
And so some moves further back in the field. I think Farrell Fury, just some moves going on around him. He's fallen a little bit back from the pack as Dylan has lost the position. Well, I think he had a look at trying to. I don't know if Brent just got past him but they were swapping positions. And yeah, the closest battle really on track is this battle of the McLarens. Rocco's in there. Rick, they're all still bunched up really in this mid-pack area.
And here comes Luke. He's going to try to get past Miami here around the outside. Oh my! A little bit of contact made, I think. They bang wheels, bang side pods, and Luke's going to get through and up into P7, and he's going to try to get onto the back of Rocco. Miami might come back at him here. He's got off the ERS. He's not willing to risk it, and up ahead, Gary losing out to Rick. So Rick now up into P5, Gary down to P6. The McLaren swapping positions, and Rocco's just there lurking and waiting for an opportunity in that Williams car.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued by some of these strategies. I'm assuming they're hoping for some sort of safety car later in the race with these soft tyres. As Luke gets past Gary,
as does Miami.
Tosa, and actually Miami breezes past him on the exit there, so maybe Gary just got a really bad run out of there. I was about to say Luigi lost a place earlier in the lap to Farrell Fury on the softs, and Luigi being on the mediums, it's very interesting what these soft runners are going to do. Rocco now gets past Gary. So yeah, Gary really struggling on those mediums.
And here we go. Here's the battle we wanted to see.
Yeah, here we go. So I'm into this with the fresh mediums now. I'm going to have a go at Gary, but yeah, Gary looks a lot quicker in a straight line from the looks of it.
Yeah, as Luke's already managed to get past Rakurik and up into P5, and now we'll try to get past Campbell, and it's going to be it's over and done with.
Yeah, this is one I don't understand though. Passing in front, not pushing to try and get past. As Rick gets past on Campbell, so that has just nothing in a straight line. But I'm a bit intrigued by Passe. He's not pushing at all down the straights. Whether he's waiting for, well, I'm assuming he's waiting for DRS. But if I was Passe, I would have tried to get past at the first opportunity on Verstappen and try and pull away as much as possible. Because now he's got Luke, who we know has been quick in this race. He's on the softs, right on the back of Passe. So now he's got to think about more than just trying to get past Verstappen, and Verstappen might sneak still into into the DRS of Larkin.
Yeah, and I think Passe's made a mistake by not being a bit more aggressive. We're trying to make this overtakes on Verstappen, because now Luke is in that battle as well, and Luke is honestly his biggest competition right now. As sorry, I'm fixated on this Alfa Romeo battle right now. I know these two do tend to get a little bit spicy, but here we go now.
Passe finally making a move. Finally, he started pushing on that last lap, and all it needed was a little bit of ERS, and he would have breezed past. But he's finally done it, and he's finally up into P2. So that is this is his chance to finally get to the front of the field and pull away. As Farrell Fury's made a mistake.
This is around. I'm not sure if that was contact with Old School or just spinning it on the curb, but car mentalist is around.
World does not want this Alfa Romeo battle. So putting everything in between, but yeah, car mentalist round down into 15th. Going to keep it going as Gary loses another place into Piratella, and that is Brent up the inside into the top 10. So the Alfa Romeo it's not going well for them so far.
It's really not, and like I said, I don't know if Carmenta spun off the curb, but if there was a bit of contact between him and Old School, it was pretty close. I think Old School left the room, so I'm not entirely sure, but if there was contact, then it had to be someone with an Irish flag, didn't it?
Yeah,
as
so
he goes
Passe
past
finally
it.
going for the lead. And he gets that done. Is Luke going to be close enough? No, so this is crucial for Luke's race. He managed to get past Verstappen somewhere on the last lap. And actually, I've just seen where the other Haas is. So the other Campbell was fourth in the restart. He's already down to 10th. But Verstappen holding strong there in fourth. But is Luke going to get stuck behind, or is he going to go for a send here into the hairpin at Toes? No, he's not. So this is crucial for Luke. Really, he needs to try and get ahead of Larkin and stay in Passe's DRS because he's on those softs. It's a completely different strategy for Passe going all the way to the end. But Luke just can't find a way through right now.
Yeah, as old school, I think that's his second penalty he's picked up today. Quickly check. Yes, it is. Old school now with 6 seconds of time pens, and it's not looking good. And there's Gary with his second 3-second time penalty. So we're starting to see the penalties rack up.
This is crucial. Larkin has managed to just stay in the DRS, but Luke looks very close behind, close enough to try something going into turn one. Is Larkin going to defend it? No, not really. And Luke breezes past him as Rick manages to get past Verstappen as well. And actually, so does Miami. So Miami just following Rick through there into the top 5, and Verstappen going to start slowly falling backwards now. There's 21 on that old soft tyres.
Yep, Campbell dropping through the field. We've got Gary dropping through the field on those 22 lap old mediums. Verstappen, you can just see now that those tyres are just, they're getting towards the end of their usefulness, and they're starting to drop back through the field rapidly compared to these other guys around them.
Yeah, he's losing. It looks like a tenth or 2 tenths a corner at this point, and he's just losing so much time, and it won't be long, I wouldn't think, till he's back in the pits. I don't know. I think he started on the soft tyres, so I don't know how many. Let's have a look at how many stops he's done. 2 stops, so he could have been on the mediums as well. So in his next stop, if he's got a set of softs, he could go for that. But yeah, one I didn't look at. Passe, Luke is right behind him. Luke is by far quicker than him at the moment. Brentston the fastest lap of the race. Luke flies into the lead on that 31 on those softs, and Passe just nothing to fight him back with. And it'll be interesting to see if he can pull away now.
We got Rocco making his way through the order. He is in the Williams car. No penalties to his name. He's just about holding on to the DRS range of Miami. Right now, he's looking at a net P4 once Passe and Larkin come into the pits.
Yeah, Rocco done a very good job so far in this race. It is on the soft, so he'll have to, in a similar position to Luke, see if they can go all the way to the end. And I think Verstappen is kind of proving that they probably can't do that. Because he's under 20 odd laps on them, and he's just fallen off a cliff. So I think the soft runners might have to come in. Well, probably have to come in again. But it's whether they can pull that gap now. Speaking of pulling a gap, Luke already out of DRS range behind. Passe has the same thing, but those front two are kind of just gone at the moment. Luke is fast lap on the race of 17.8, so that is some ridiculous pace. So now we're going to see Rick try and get into 3rd place. Larkin had a look at defending it, not much he can do, and Rick flies past him. Actually, Miami doesn't follow him through this time. So we have Campbell losing the position to Noah Luigi, and Farrell Fury actually getting through on Ultimate there, down into turn 1.
And now for these guys who are on the mediums, on the 11 lap old mediums, like, this is crucial information for them, seeing how quickly these soft tyres are falling off right now. Just in case they were thinking of pitting in the next couple of laps or a set of softs, they're seeing the effect once they get to this kind of distance.
Yeah, we have got to take into into account that Verstappen isn't a Haas, so the pace isn't going to be there anyway. But he was managing to stay with drivers earlier in the race, and as you can see right now, he cannot stay with anyone because those softs have well and truly gone off a cliff. So he now has Feral Fury all over the back of him. He's just losing so much time in front. About 5 temps just in that final sector by the looks of things. So Feral Fury is going to breeze past, but those softs are not in their best shape. And actually, Passe really just isn't quite on it because Rick has managed to get in his DRS and is all over the back of him as Larkin holds off on Miami this time around. But yeah, Rick right on the back of Passe now, as Verstappen has been overtaken by Old School down into turn 4. So that he is now right at the back of the top 10, slip through the field. And it could be strange that his teammate, see if his teammate gets any closer to him being on the mediums. That could be an interesting one to see.
Yeah, definitely could be. So the question is, for these guys that are on 25 lap old mediums, for the likes of Campbell and Gary, do you just stay out and pray for a safety car, or at what point do you duck out? Because if you're falling back for the field, it's unlikely you're going to be able to make those positions back later on in the races. Brent is all over the back of Rocco, and they're going to be wheel to wheel. Brent's going to get the move done.
I think at this point in the race, those guys have kind of got nothing to lose, so they could go on to a set of tyres now, drop to right to the back of the field. Like most of the guys have dropped to the back, they could drop completely all the way to the back, right? But do whatever, and then if a safety car comes out, they just join the back of the queue and see what happens. They've got nothing to lose at this point. Someone like Verstappen's still 10th, but is he going to be 10th for much longer? The way the tyres are going off, probably not. But it kind of depends on what everyone else does in that situation. If they don't pit, you probably have to stay out. If they do pit, you could probably go in as well. You're not going to lose too much. So, but at this point in the race, if there's no safety car, they're not in a good position either way. So you kind of just throw caution to the wind at this point.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think if Gary and Campbell decided to pit, depending on if they lose touch with Dylan, because Dylan's still kind of dragging them along a bit, but if they lose touch with Dylan and just drop back as Verstappen loses out to New Waluigi there, so dropping outside that top 10, if they were to pit, then it becomes a chasing game for them. Can they catch back up to the likes of Dylan, who would be in a world of his own? Same with New Waluigi, and with Carl Mendelis as well, who we presume will probably go to the end on those tyres.
Yeah, and those guys are just they could catch Verstappen. They'll catch Verstappen. Verstappen's tyres are you just see it. Even in a Williams, Dylan's gonna absolutely breeze up to the back of Verstappen in a few laps' time. But behind that, yeah, it's going to be difficult for any of them really to do anything for the rest of this race. You've got commenters going to the end. You've got Dylan going to the end. Campbell and Gary could probably go to the end as well, but if they want to, you're not far off looking at going on to the softs, and being able to make it to the end. So they've got to weigh all these things up. Verstappen's done 26 laps at the moment, and he's probably trying to go long enough so we can get on a set at the end as well. So there are a few laps out for softs. That might be the way to go, and then hope that a safety car comes up.
I tell you what, Passe is holding up an almighty train right now, from second all the way down to P8. It's like a conga line behind the Mercedes right now, and it is interesting to see a Mercedes struggle. It really is, but it's nice. It's a nice change of pace.
Yeah, Passay's just not been on it since his spin, really, and I think it will come back to him towards the end of the race. Luke will probably have to pit, and before that, his tyres will probably fall off. So he's done 15 laps on softs. Oh,
Brent and Miami, they're making a bit of contact as Brent was trying to get through, and looked like he possibly has a little bit of damage here. Does Brent? He didn't look like he had all the downforce that he wanted there for the corners. As Foul Fury just breezes past the Williams of Rocco there, but I think Brent may have a bit of damage or something.
I'm trying to have a look, and I can't see anything. I can't see anything, but it might be. Well, it might be not visual, so he might have something, but it'll be the smallest bit of damage. But even the smallest bit of damage on this game can cost you second and a half a lap. So he's not losing loads of time, but he's not exactly on the back of the train. So be very interesting to keep an eye out for that one. But yeah, as you said, Passay holding up this train, an absolute treat. Rick, just that Honda engine hasn't quite got enough to try and get past Passay on the straight. Passay just managing to stay ahead of these guys for now. None of these really have penalties except for Miami. No one else really has penalties has any penalties towards the front. So see how that one unfolds. I can bet a few guys are on 2 warnings, but nothing really happening in that train at the moment.
Honestly, I think Rick is just playing it smart as we got Verstappen in off his softs. Rick isn't pushing. He knows he's got 13 laps advantage over the medium runners around him. Miami's got a penalty, so he's safe from Miami at the moment, and he knows that Luke is on softs and will probably have to pit again.
Yeah, I'm just checking the penalties. I think a few of these guys have decided to stop pushing as much as well, because Luke and Passay are on 1 warning, but pretty much everyone behind that is on 2. So one wrong move from one driver can completely mess up the whole race, and actually Rick's starting to fall back a little bit now from Passay. So also we've got to remember Passay's tyres are a lot older, 13 laps older. He didn't pit under that second safety car. His pit stop under the first, so his tyres are a lot older. He's got to do a lot more managing, but he's managing it quite well at the moment.
Here comes Miami on Larkin. He's going to look to the outside for turn 1. Yeah, you just can't make the move on the outside, but he's trying to get a better run down towards the chicane, but he's got to back out of it. Honestly, the outside for turn 1, you're not going to make the move stick around the outside. It's not the prime spot to try the overtake. It really isn't.
Yeah, I don't think turn 1 isn't not the best place to actually make an overtake as well, because even if you're on the inside and you're trying to send it down someone's inside, you lose so much time trying to battle them into turn 1. It's very difficult. You kind of need it going. You need to be ahead into turn 1 to make that move stick, really, most of the time. But this is a track pretty devoid of great opportunities to overtake, and turn 1 is the best of a bad bunch. As Miami all over the place, really, and Brent's can have a look at him this time around. But yeah, Brent's fallen a bit further back, so not much he can do as they kind of stay in formation again. Larkin's slipping towards losing DRS. He is out of ERS as well. He's derating, so they'll have to watch that as well. This could be a crucial moment for his race, whether Miami can get past, and if he loses DRS, there's Gary and Campbell are now battling. They've fallen away from Dylan, and Campbell now on the DRS behind Gary, trying to get past him. So this could be a very interesting one for the rest of this race. We don't get the Alpha battle, we get these two battling instead.
Yep, it's a Celtic feud, let's say, between a Scotsman and an Irishman, and you'll have to see it.
Another thing towards the end of this race, whether Verstappen can actually close his gap. He's 21 seconds behind his teammate, just under 13 behind Carmentis, who picks up a penalty. I just think at any moment now, penalties are going to fly in as Larkin and Brent both into the pits on there. Larkin on his 33 lap old medium, so he didn't trust them to the end. That brings in the question of Passe. Can Passe go all the way to the end on those mediums? That would be very interesting to see. Brent on his softs didn't fancy going all the way to the end either, and he changes onto a fresh set. So I think the pit stops are going to happen around about now. We'll see. The intriguing one is Passe, what Passe will do on his mediums.
Well, the interesting thing is, with Larkin and Brent coming into the pits, is actually split up the train. Miami's out of DRS range on Leclerc, and Foul Fury's out of DRS range on Miami. So it has split up the train, and this is prime time now for Leclerc to get past Passe and get a move on it, because I say that as Miami just gets back within the 1 second, but for Leclerc, needs to get the job done, needs to get it done now.
But the other problem with Leclerc, he hasn't actually saved as much ERS. He probably would have wanted to save a lot more if he's just sitting behind Passe. Passe stays out. Rick actually goes into the pit, so this is an interesting call. Passe clearly thinks he can go a lot further on those mediums. Otherwise, he wouldn't be staying out. And Luke's another one that stayed out on the softs, and I think at some point those softs have got to change.
Leclerc on softs.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. 21 laps at the end of the race. That is that's doable. Verstappen showed he did about 28 laps, I think, earlier in the race. So clearly doable. But this is going to be interesting. Is Rick going to come out ahead? Is he going to get jumped by? No, he's not. He's actually miles ahead. So Brent and Larkin's been shuffled right down the order behind Brent. So he's managed to get ahead of him, but Rick stays ahead of these two, and now we just wait to see what everyone else does.
Yeah, and Leclerc is going to rapidly close up to the back of Campbell and Gary, and for Rick, his whole undercut right here all depends on how effective he can be with the slower cars, but Luke is into the pit, so he's already responding. And he's putting a set of the soft tyres. I think Passe is going to try and commit.
Yeah, and to be fair, I think he probably has to. If there's a safety car, well, you might have been right with the safety car thing, because we haven't seen any crashes since, but we haven't seen any sign of a safety car. We'll have to wait until someone actually crashes. But yeah, if there's a safety car at any time now, Passe's in a prime position to take back the lead of the race. He's got to. I think he's got to commit to this long strategy. If he comes in this lap, he's got a lot of time to gain on Luke. Luke's in a bit of clean air as well, so it's going to be no one trying to overcut him. Well, I mean, or gain some time on him. On this lap.
Here goes Leclerc, and he's going to get through on Campbell. Job done, and up in the P9 goes Leclerc, and next up for him is XL Gary.
Yeah, as I was saying, the gap between Luke and Passe is currently 20 seconds. Is Passe going to come in? No, he's not, so I think he has committed completely to that strategy, and someone else committing to that strategy is Miami, but he's got 13 lap younger tyres, so it's a bit easier for him to make that decision.
Oh, contact, Brent, and Leclerc's made contact, and Brent's in the wall. We could have wing damage.
No, I think he's avoided that.
And there was no safety. No, he's in the pits. He's got wing damage. Just wasn't visible for us.
You're not good then. Those guys were in pretty good positions if everyone else had pit. Brent got a speeding penalty for his.
Yeah, I think Brent is just fuming.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, I was on board with that, and it was a bit of a mess there. I'm not gonna lie. Gary made a mistake. It allowed Rick to get a good run into chicane. Rick kind of just went off track on the exit.
Oh, Passay's in. That to me is maybe he's not sure about his tyres going to the end, but I mean the only person there's only like two cars that should be sure about their tyres going to the end. It's the Mercedes and the Red Bull. So Passay not being sure about softs going all the way when Haas can do 28 laps is bizarre.
Miami is around. That was heartbreaking. Miami was in a fantastic spot.
Passay's waited that long to pit. He's now behind Larkin. So that actually he would have been behind Rick and Brent as well. So that's how long it took him to pit, and he's now how far behind Luke? He's now 10 seconds behind Luke. So Luke's gained another 4.5 seconds on him.
Yep.
Luke now has got the task of trying to close down on his on Miami and Farrell Fury, whether they decide to come into the pits or not for a set of softs themselves. But otherwise, that is Luke's goal. The win is well within his reach, and now just gotta keep it clean, and it's probably gonna be his.
Larkin's gonna hate this. He is really gonna hate this. Ibo at the moment about to be lapped, but he's gonna give DRS to Dylan. Yeah, Dylan's got DRS, but I don't think it's gonna matter. Larkin is gonna cruise on by, but could have been a bit more complicated than what it ended up being for Larkin.
Yeah, and it's a bit of a weird place to give way. The DRS detection point is basically on the apex of the just before the apex of the penultimate corner, and Ivo gives way just after. It's a bit of a bizarre place to actually do it, but nothing against what he's done, and nothing in the rules that says he can't do that. So
I mean, Ivo's my driver of the day so far. Like, I can't even lie.
He's still in the race, so he's going to pick up good points. So he's doing quite a good job. As Passay is now all over the back of Dylan. Dylan on 25 lap old mediums compared to Passay's soft compound tyres. Should be easy, but look how far Larkin has already pulled away from Dylan. 2.2 seconds, and we're just coming towards the end of the lap. So that is a massive chunk of time.
Yes, Passay should be able to just cruise on past Dylan now as DRS has been activated. Passay through up into P6 as Luke gets through as Miami's in the wall.
Yeah, and he's got wing damage from that one, so that will be a pit stop for Miami. See whether he rejoins. Oh, thank God he ghosted there, because that would have been a nightmare. But just to see how much time Passay lost, and just being behind Dylan there, he's lost another 2 seconds to Luke there, just from that one lap. So he's not quite had it. Some of the strategy calls are a bit bizarre, and obviously that spin early on they're going to cost him big time in the race.
Yeah, and Foul Fury, I think, is praying for a safety car, but we've seen a couple of spins recently, and they have looked like they could have caused a safety car, or at least a VSC, and nothing's happened. So I think I was right by thinking that there's possibly only 3 SCs.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a shame for the guys at the back of the field that kind of hoping for it, but I've just seen because everyone's pit now. We've got Campbell and Gary out there on 39 lap old medium tyres, about to make it 40 lap old tyres. They're in the top 10, so they're doing a great job. And because they've got DRS, one's got DRS from the other, they're holding off anyone behind. So this pair could be well and truly on. Whether they can keep this up for P7 and P8, they've got Rocco behind, who, yes, he's on fresh softs in the Williams, but it is still a Williams, so it won't have a massive pace advantage. He's actually going to go for it at Tozer and gets that well done. Gary's not even put up a fight there, so throw everything I've just said out the window.
I don't think Gary had much choice there. There's no way he could put up, oh no, there's a Ferrari around, and that's Brent.
Yeah. No wing as well for Brent, so second time in a matter of laps that he's got no wing.
Campbell and Gary just do not have any traction whatsoever out of these corners. These mediums are absolutely cooked.
The fun part of this one is we're trying to work out whether it's the tyres or the car as old school just breezes past down the hill. Absolutely nothing Gary can fight with.
Brent's out the session.
Yeah. He's had enough. He's called it a day in the pit lane. Still going to pick up 48 points, 49 points. But yeah, he's had enough. As Farah Fury picks up a penalty, his first of the race. This is going to be interesting. Luke now within 10 seconds. Can he close that gap? Because he's closing it, but can he close it quickly enough? Those soft tyres from Farah Fury have got to be screaming, but Luke, he's still got quite a way to go. 14 laps left of the race. It's a long way to go. The front of the field has spread out massively now. 17 seconds, well, nearly 18 seconds separate the top 3. So it has kind of just separated itself at the front now.
Yeah, it's a shame that honestly a safety car would spice this up. Unfortunately, Larkin's now just got through on New Waluigi, which I mean you could kind of see was going to happen. 30 laps on the mediums versus 8 lap old softs. It was bound to happen eventually. But apart from these guys on the fresh soft tyres closing up to these aging mediums, there's not much going on right now, and the safety car would really spice this up.
Yeah, and it's just split out a little bit at the front, and that's where most of the battles were taking place, at the front, and now we really only have 2-3 cars within a second of each other. One of which is Passe all over the back of the Waluigi, which we expect considering the tyre difference, but
Can I point something out?
Just really not been on it since that spin really at the start of the race.
I just want to point it out as Rocco gets through on Dylan there, so Rocco up into P6. Just pointing it out, Carl Mendes is closing in on Gary.
Oh, here we go. Part 300 and something of this battle. As Passe breezes past Luigi into P4, so he's going to go after that podium now. It's really the best he can achieve for the rest of this race. 12 laps to go. Trying to get past Larkin for that 3rd place, but yeah, we have Commentalis v Gary again. Hopefully, we'll get it by the end of this race. There's a 13 lap tyre difference between the pair. 4 seconds to make it for Commentalis, so.
Yeah, and once again is a Haas sandwich with an Alfa Romeo filling. And Old
Nice.
School's in a bit of a Williams sandwich right now.
Yeah, the Williams have done quite well so far. Dylan's starting to fall back through the field, but that's because of his aging tyres. They're not quite as bad as the two behind him, but they're still pretty bad. So he's just trying his best to hold on to those. But Rocco done a fantastic job up in 6th place. One thing I want to check: who's the highest? So actually, Farrell Fury is leading the race on a 3-stop currently. Luke has also done 3 stops. The only one, well, there's only 3 people in the top 10 that have done a 1-stop: Waluigi and then Calvin and Gary. So a lot of stops in this race because of the safety cars, but the top 2 both done 3 stops so far in this race. And actually, Farrell Fury has had that spin earlier in the race, didn't he, where he lost his front wing. So he's in a great position considering that.
Yeah, the question for Farrell Fury is, what is his tyre wear like right now? Obviously, we don't know as Gary and Campbell is beginning the battle, so I'll go on both relax. That could be a tasty battle. Oh, actually, no, I'll go up towards the battle for P3 between Larkin and Passe. Battle for the podium, bit more important. Yeah, but for Farrell Fury, is how bad his tyre wear is right now. Like, what percentage is he on? Because if he can stretch it, he needs to stretch it. And for New Waluigi as well, currently in P5, everyone behind him that's closing in on him has penalties. So he has a bit of a decent buffer to those behind. Obviously, Rocco with 3 seconds, Old School with 6 seconds. As here goes Passe now, going to get through on Larkin, lap 53 of 63. Passe up in the second. Well, third. I don't think Farrell Fury's tyres are going to go to the end. I think Passe's net second right now.
I'm gonna give him a little bit of faith. If he can do this, if there's anyone, well, if there's anyone that would try it in the first place, it's Farrell Fury. But if he can do it, it would be ridiculous. He's probably, he's definitely going to lose first place. Even Luke can get within 3 seconds and get it on penalties, but I don't know. It'd be very interesting to see if he can go to the end. If those tyres can do another 10 laps, that is essentially one of the greatest drivers I've seen in LOE, just managing to hold on to the tyres, and he's going to get second place out of it if he does that. So as long as they don't puncture, I see no reason why he shouldn't go to the end. But if you're reaching like 80%, yeah, you're risking a bit too much there. But the pace isn't too bad from Farrell Fury either.
Yeah, as Passe sets a new fastest lap, showing his pace. Yeah, comment this is about to get into the Gary Campbell train. Just when you thought it was all over, grab your popcorn. It's about to get a little bit spicy here.
I think he's just outside the DRS range this time around he is, but I mean, he could probably keep up with the Haas with DRS. Alfa Romeo with no DRS, he could probably, he's not going to fall back that much because that Haas is just so slow in a straight line. Yeah, Nick. Campbell's gone off actually, so it's going to make Commentator's life a bit easier trying to get past the Haas driver and try and have a go at his teammate. That's what we all want to see. We all want to see Commentator's versus Gary, and we're getting close to that soon as Commentator's. He's very good around this track. It's a bit disappointing he's had that moment earlier on where he went to the back of the field, but yeah, him and an Alfa Romeo, it's just not quite worked through this race so far, and just we want one crowning moment to for him to tee off this race with. Got to get past Campbell first. He's just going to sneak back into DRS, I think.
Yeah, but the traction will be with comment. This is going to use his ears to draw alongside. Not going to hold it down the inside though. He's going to try to look for a good exit out of the final corner. And now ERS, DRS. Campbell's coasting on Gary as well. Gary's out of VRS and Campbell to the inside.
Oh,
and yeah, we got this side by side. Comment to this and Gary. Gary backs out of it.
We hyped that up for that long and nothing happened. There we go.
It's terrible. Like they're just teasing us right now.
Where's the scripting? We need the scripting. And this is just proof. Never get your expectations up. But yeah, Commentalist couldn't get past Campbell. Manages to get past Gary. Gary was out of place, and he should be able to breeze past Campbell on the DRS this time around. No faffing about trying to stick in his DRS behind him. He's just gonna get it down the straight, and off he goes. But yeah, after waiting all that long for something to happen, and it's over in about 2 seconds.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't sign up for this. This comment, this does get through on Campbell and up into P9, and Gary's gonna follow suit as well. But you gotta think the tyre advantage that comment this has, he's just gonna pull away on this lap.
Yeah, he should be able to just drive away from these pair, and he's starting to do that. It's nearly, well, I was looking at 7 tenths, towards 8 tenths, but yeah, he should be able to pull away by the end of this lap, just out of a second, and once he's out of DRS range, he will just go. I think nothing really happening towards the front, but actually we have Luke. Feral Fury is going all the way to the end, 35 laps on these soft tyres. He is still in the lead of the race. He's going to lose it on penalties as it stands. Luke, I think on 2 warnings. I will just double check. Oh no, Luke might be on the 1 warning. Yes, he is. So Luke nowhere near getting a penalty as it stands. He should be able to fly past Feral Fury this time around. Passey's not too far away, and it's the interesting thing with Passey. Can we get within 3 seconds? He's pulled away from Larkin, who looks set for P4 now, but can Passey get within 3 seconds of Feral Fury? He's about 7 seconds behind. So he needs 4 more seconds in 6 laps. Probably doable, but just can he do it with the amount of laps left? It's gonna be close. But in the Mercedes, who knows?
Yeah, you'd think in the Mercedes, with what was it, 24 lap fresher tyres, you'd expect them to close in a decent amount each lap, but the Red Bull seems to be holding up pretty well right now, as Luke is just gonna cruise on by into the race lead, and I think Feral Fury knew that was gonna happen. This is the battle now between Feral Fury and Passey. Luigi has a bit of company for P5 with Rocco and Old School.
Oh.
And comment this, exploring some track limits and getting a 3-second time penalty.
He didn't. I think he did just pull out of a second, but he's being saved currently as Rocco makes a move on Waluigi. Rocco up to P5, but he does have that 3-second penalty, so that's going to drop him back in the end. But Commentus picks up his 2nd penalty of the race, but Gary behind him has 3 penalties, as Rick has overtaken both Houses on one straight. That is how bad the House car is in a straight line. Rick just breezes past. He's pretty much out of VRS, but it's the end of the race. It doesn't really matter, and just absolutely flying past.
Old School getting past Luigi. Passey has closed down the gap to 4.5 seconds now, so it's coming down.
Yeah, Feral Fury's tyres must be so close to puncturing. Passey's gained about, I don't know, 1.5 seconds that lap, 2 seconds, something like that. Just absolutely nothing left of those tyres, and he's got to be careful here. He could fall back far enough to lose the podium potentially. I mean, Larkin is falling away from Passey, but those tyres, if they fall off enough, it won't matter how much Larkin's fallen away. He'll still catch up to Farrell Fury. Pass only needs to find 2 temps, and I think he might just find them on this corner exit alone. And it's pretty much there. One more corner, and Passe will be within 3 seconds. There we go. So Passe, without a mistake, now will have second place. But fair play to Farrell Fury for trying to make these tyres go to the end, as Rick gets past Gary as well now.
Yep, Rick through up into P10 and is now going to go hunting after Car Mentalist, who is not really a threat due to the penalty situation, but I think for Rick, if he can get the Car Mentalist ASAP, has an opportunity to get onto the back of Dylan and his penalties. I think Dylan only has 3 seconds, and that he does.
Yeah, it's a very good opportunity for Rick to get back into this race. If he had that moment with got that damage with Brent, he was towards the front the whole race, so it's a big chance for him to salvage some more points. Obviously, they get the points for finishing the whole race, which they're all going to get 60 points if they cross the line this time around. The only person the lap down is Ibo, so Ibo cannot get 63. He can get 62 though. So, but yeah, actually, I don't know why. I don't know how Ibo is. Or maybe Ibo's nearly 2 laps down. Oh, sorry, I can't read, but because he's being closed up by I think that's Luke. Yes, it is. So Miami gets past Campbell, so now we have a Haas at the back.
Verstappen got past Gary and Rick got past Car Mentalist, so several moves going on at once there as Passe's through on Farrell Fury, and now we have a accurate representative now between Larkin and Farrell Fury.
Yeah, a bit of an odd place to make the move, but I guess Passe had the confidence he wasn't going to get re-overtaken down the straight. What I was about to say, Rick is just within that 3 seconds to Dylan, so he will pick up that place if he can hold on to that with fresher tyres. You think he could? He should be able to do that. But yeah, now the battle for Farrell Fury is trying to hold on to this podium. He's got this lap plus another 2 to just not lose 3.5 seconds, which is easier said than done with tyres that are nearly 40 laps old.
Larkin's already taken half a second out of him in a couple of corners.
Yeah, so it could be a struggle. Obviously, Farrell Fury did have DRS down the straight as well, which might save him a little bit, but you have to see the 20 lap age difference between the tyres. So we were saying at about 20 laps when Verstappen was driving, the tyres went off. Larkin's on 19, so his tyres have probably gone off. God knows what Farrell Fury's tyres are like, because he's on 39 laps, so he's in a whole different world of pain with those tyres at the moment.
Do you know, I wish, for future F1 games is if we as spectators can see the tyre wear.
Do it like the AWS, but have it be slightly inaccurate. That would be great. But yeah, there 2 laps to go now. Harkin 5.3 behind, so he has pulled a second out, pretty much in the final sector of that lap. So he's charging down for this podium.
He's on course
now.
for it. He is on course for it at the moment. But one mistake from Larkin, and that's the podium gone, I think.
And it's a valiant effort from Farrell Fury to try and hold on to these tyres, but they're just not going to go. If they don't puncture, it's a miracle. So couldn't have expected him to try and hold on to the podium, but he's given it a go. 4.5 seconds now the gap. Only one time around the circuit after this one. As you said, one small mistake from Larkin pretty much throws that podium out the window. It's 4.2, so it is coming down about 2 tenths, 1 tenth a corner.
Oh, and Larkin's done it.
Penalty. Oh,
there's the mistake.
Well, you said it. One mistake and it was all over, and without a mistake from Farrell Fury now, that he's going to get a podium. So if those tyres hold up for one more lap, he has pulled off an absolute worldie of a strategy. and driven superbly to keep those tyres intact and bring home P3. So we're on the final lap now as Luke comes through the Villeneuve chicane and really going on throughout the field. Actually, Rick has closed right up to the back of Dylan. He might have a go on this final lap.
And Miami over the back of Verstappen here for P11. Final lap of the race. I'm actually going to go on board with Luke as he comes into the final sector for the final time. As Rick does manage to get past Dylan, Miami does manage to get past Verstappen. But Luke, he's been in cruise mode, and it's allowed Passy to close right up to the back of him, but it's too little, too late, and Luke's been flawless, I'd say, and Passy, that spin cost him.
Yeah, that spin has completely cost Passy. He comes home in second in the end, which isn't the worst thing. But this is exactly what Luke needs, this kind of race for to try and reignite his championship charge. He was on, I think there was one race where he didn't score. He scored like 1 point. Yeah, Portugal. So, and Noah Luigi, this is probably his worst race of the season so far. Just been stuck in, no man's land. He's 43 laps on the mediums.
Well, he jumps old school.
Oh, actually, yeah, P6. So, he's still going to pick up good points. So this is not good for the rest.
Miami
of
on the car mental list. Penultimate corner. Miami sent it down the inside. I think that's for position as well as.
It won't matter. Yeah, it won't matter though, because Miami has 9 seconds of penalties.
Verstappen, top 10.
All of them. There we go. Verstappen into the top 10 in the end. So. Also, so Luke wins from Passy. Farrell Fury holds on to third. Larkin fourth. Not by much in the end. Actually, Larkin caught him right up, but Rocco finished fifth in the Williams. That is a great job from Rocco.
Yes, Ibo. Yes, Ibo.
Is he doing donuts?
Yes, he is.
It's not a league race with Ibo in it if there's no donuts.
He did one donut. He didn't do enough for him. I'm upset. Ibo has disappointed me today. But Rocco gets driver of the day, and honestly, for me, I kind of have to give driver of the day. I know it's going to be boring, but I have to give it to Luke.
I'm going to give driver of the day to Farrell Fury. Because the fact he's got those tyres to the end, and he was towards the back after he crashed earlier on, so great drive from him, and he takes home P3.
Yeah, that's our joking driver of the day. Our real driver of the day is Ibo.
Ibo's always the driver of the day.
Exactly. Disappointment of the day, the Alfa Romeos, they didn't give us a battle. But we'll run you through the order one more time. It is Luke that takes victory with Passy in second. Farrell Fury rounds off the podium. Larkin came so close that one mistake cost him massively, missing out on the podium, but he comes home in P4 with Rocco in 5th. Great effort in the Williams. Noah Luigi in 6th. Old School in 7th. Ricuric in 8th. Dylan in 9th. And Verstappen rounding out the top 10. Outside the top 10 then is car mentalist Miami, Gary, Campbell and Ibo. And our non-finishers were Brent, Funky Chicken, Calvin, Marty and Killer Blue. Normally guys, what we do like to get the podium into the party, but I actually have to shoot off. So I won't be able to bring people in for the podium interviews. I do apologise, but I do have to shoot off. But I can inform you of what race shall be next on the calendar, and in about well, 3 weeks time, we go to Mexico City for the Mexican Grand Prix. So that'll be on the 23rd of March. But also this week, the LOE PC League on Friday, and then of course we got the PlayStation 4 divisions on Saturday. PC, I believe, 8 p.m. on Friday British time, and 6:30 and 8:10 Saturday for the PlayStation F1 League. So that's going to bring an end to the stream. Any final thoughts on that race, RJ?
Really interesting race. The safety cars early on. That safety car thing must actually be a thing with the 30 safety cars, because we saw absolutely nothing afterwards, and it kind of split the field up. But no, really intriguing first half of the race and really intriguing second half of the race, but for completely different reasons. And I'm just still in shock that the fact Farrell Fury managed to do 40 something laps on a set of softs. So.
Yeah. And you just said he was on 87% at the end, so he was literally on the wire. 87%, one effort from Farrell Fury. But yep, that is going to bring an end to the stream, guys. Of course, we'll be back in a couple of weeks for round number 7 at Mexico. But back to the regular LOE racing on Friday and Saturday. So make sure you guys tune in. But until next time, guys, I've been Mike. He's been XLRJ, and we'll see you in the next one.